If houses could move on their own, which one would you choose? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about a house that moved overnight. If you enjoy this sort of content, then please stay tuned for more videos like these. And if you haven't already, then please consider subscribing so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Let's get started. This creepy house legend comes from a Reddit user. It was late at night, and I was looking out my bedroom window when I saw what looked like a house across the street, slowly levitating into the air. At first, I thought it was a movie or something, because it was moving so smoothly. But then I realized that the windows were glowing with an eerie yellow light. It was definitely no special effect. I got dressed and ran downstairs to get a closer look. The house was indeed floating in the air. I don't remember how long we watched it for, but it seemed like forever. Finally, the house landed with a soft thud, back onto its foundation. We all just stood there staring at it, wondering what the hell had happened. My dad went outside to check for damage, and everything seemed fine. There were no skid marks on the lawn, and the house hadn't moved even an inch from where it had been before. We never saw the house move again, but every now and then, I'll hear floorboards creaking in the middle of the night, and I can't help but wonder if it's trying to move again. Our next Reddit story is from another user. One night I heard a loud crash in my room. I assumed it was my roommate being her normal, careless self. Then I heard a series of bangs and what sounded like screams. I went to my window and looked out. Across the street, the neighbor's house had literally moved about 10 feet to the left. When I say moved, I mean the whole house, like the foundation and everything. It was sitting at a slight angle, and a bunch of stuff had fallen off the shelves and windows. Their front door had also swung open, and their 2 dogs came running out, then took off down the street. I have no idea how long the house had been moving for, but it must have been at least a few hours, because their TV and other furniture had also been knocked over. When I tell people this story, they always assume I'm joking, but it's true. I wish I was making it up. I'd be a little more creative with my lies, but I was only 10 at the time, and I didn't know any better. Our next Reddit story is from another user. A few years ago, my family and I were camping near some friends of ours who lived in a house by a lake. Our kids were grown, and we were all hanging out around a campfire when my friend came running out of his house yelling, "Call 911! Call 911!" Of course, we were all very confused, but we quickly figured out he was saying that his house had moved. When we all went outside, there was this huge divot in the ground where the house had been, and the house itself was nowhere to be seen. We spent a good 30 minutes searching for the house before we finally spotted it about 200 yards away, slanted precariously on the bank of a hill. We all got in my friend's truck and sped off to find the owners. We found them sitting on the porch swing in front of their house, completely calm and sipping sweet tea. They said that they hadn't felt anything or seen anything. My friend told them their house had moved, and they simply replied, "Oh yeah, that again," as if it was a common occurrence. They said that sometimes the house would move on its own, and they just had to go along with it. My friend asked them if they were sure everything was okay, and they just smiled and kept drinking their tea. No one really knows what happened, but my friend and his family moved away shortly after. For our final Reddit story, it comes from another user. I grew up in a home that was built in the early 1900s. The house was big, but it was built on stilts, so to speak. You had to walk up a set of stairs to get to the front door. This was convenient because we lived on a floodplain, and the extra elevation meant that most of the house was above the floodwaters when the river swelled. As a kid, I used to love playing hide and seek in and around the house, and I knew every nook and cranny. So one day while playing, I decided to explore the underbelly of the house. To get there, you had to climb up the stairs and look underneath the house. Well, that's when I saw it. The floor had moved. I remember thinking, How did the floor move? I looked out from under the house and noticed that the entire floor plan had shifted. What used to be the kitchen was now the living room, and the living room was now the dining room, and so on. I remember feeling this overwhelming sense of dread as I realized that the only way to escape was to knock on the wall and hope someone heard me. Fortunately, my sister was playing nearby, and she heard me. She came running over, looked underneath the house, and screamed, "Get out of there right now!" She helped me scramble out from under the house, and we ran to tell my parents. My parents came out and looked underneath the house, and then shrugged it off as a trick of the light. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But as a kid, it scared the hell out of me. And to this day, I still wonder if that house was haunted, or if it was trying to get rid of me. Thanks for watching. Where do you think the house went? Do you believe in ghosts? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like and share this video if you think others will enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.